Okay. Were there other members of the military that were out there walking around the craft like you were?
No, ma'am. I was the only one that walked around the craft. John was incapacitated at the time, so by whatever visual lighting that was causing him to be enveloped in it, he just recently came public with that. And I've known about that for years, but this is a human journey we're going through also, to be able to deal with certain emotional issues with it. And so John just went public with that. But that's one of the things I kept secret until he was ready, what was happening to him. And the poor guy, one night wasn't enough, he did it on 2 nights. Same thing happened to him. So it's very disturbing, actually, for me to even think that would happen to somebody. You know, I was helpless. I did what I had to do. I figured I was going to die out there that night. So I figured I was going to get as much information, do my job, well, we're here. So,
So you were were you the only two out there? No.
Okay. On the first night, this actual incident took place over 3 nights.
Okay. 3 nights, okay.
And if you look at the Halt memo, you'll see that the date is wrong on the first night when it started. That was one of the things that we've questioned, and we were able to prove eventually that the initial date that he put down was not wrong, was not correct. But the first night was our incident. The second night, there was a small incident where they observed lights again in the forest moving around. And they sent 2 personnel out to investigate. One of them's the on-duty shift commander. At one point, a beam of light shot down at their vehicle, through it, and shut the vehicle off. At that point, she was so upset she was relieved of duty and sent home for the rest of the night. On the third night, which is the Colonel Halt incident, which he describes in the memo, there were several areas of reported, incidents that went on. But one of the most interesting parts is he recorded a tape. I believe it's about, 13 minutes long, Nick? Was it 13? 17 minutes long of real time what was going on. If you get a chance to listen to the tape, at one point you're going to hear him, now whatever it is coming at us from the south. There's a beam of light shining down on their feet. This is unreal. And you should hear the emotion in his voice. And this is a frontline officer that was a combat controller at one point, and you can clearly hear the concern in his voice. So there was several other incidents that took place also besides ours.
So how many people actually saw this? Did anybody, I would think you were in a base or near a base, right?
We were probably 300 yards from Woodbridge, working that night at Woodbridge and Bentwaters. I know you said 40. That's probably the security flight. With LE, it might have ran up to 60, maybe. I don't know, a little less. Those are on forces. Of course, we also had, like fire department and those folks. There was other people that seen this on night 1.
Right.
And then, of course, there was the civilian numbers that we found out later on. We didn't realize how many there were. We thought it was pretty isolated as far as anybody seeing it, but we were wrong about that too.
Yeah, I would have thought that someone would have probably come out and recorded it and looked at it and taken film of it. Did any other people, touch it?
No, I was the only one out there that made physical contact. It's a hard question for me because John received contact too, but it wasn't, I don't believe, with a physical object. It was he was engulfed in a beam of light out there, and it also happened on the third night. I don't know why with him. That's even more fascinating. Why it would even happen twice? That's the unusual part of this. Here you got a landing of craft of unknown origin. That's what I put in my report because I'm in the Air Force and that's what we do. We don't use those other words. And then on what, 2 days later, it's back. And the base commander, deputy base commander, is going to put this to bed. He's going to debunk it. And his life changed too. So that's the way it came down and the way it worked. All we want is, incident happened, and we just want to be taken care of over it. And there's a lot of other veterans that were working that night. We also have access to about 240 of the other security policemen that were stationed at that twin bases there. And some of them have similar problems too. We'd like to, we're working for them too, not just ourselves. So
Have you reconnected with some of the people that were there that night?
right,
Okay.
right. And I want you to know that and I want to add this in. I know this wasn't your question, ma'am, but I want you to know that the wing commander, the base commander, those folks, when we went in and gave them a sanitized version of what happened, because we were instructed to give them a sanitized version from OSI. They never asked one question, the wing commander. It's like he knew everything was going on out there. And we found documents recently that show him why he reacted that way. So what should have happened if there was any doubt on our credibility, or any doubt on our mental state, any doubt, any activity at all? I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Air Force Personal Reliability Program, PRP. That's when all of us had the responsibility to look at the other person they're working with and say, well, he's acting odd or something strange or some odd behavior. You're supposed to report it immediately. What should have happened if there was any suspicion at all that we were not being completely honest or with the command element, they should have relieved us of duty for 30 days, had a medical evaluation, and then at 30-day mark decide whether or not they're going to permanently decertify us under PRP or return us to duty. None of that happened. It's because we went out and reported what we seen, they believed everything we said, and then to reinforce it, 3 nights later, Colonel Halt and his team go out, and when Colonel Halt called us in the office a few days later, like 5 days later, after the first night, I was so happy to hear him say that he had an experience out there and he was backing up what I was saying from the first night. I said, good, it's off my shoulders. I got a
Right.
soon to be full colonel, taking responsibility, saying, okay, I'll take the fight from this point on. And he did, actually.